So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again, this time after beating Manchester City. Yay, who would have thought that? None of us, that's for sure. None of you lot in the chat, probably. I don't think there was probably a single person on the planet that gave us a hope or a chance yesterday. But here we are, smiles and grins all around. And we finally, at the 13th Premier League attempt, beat them. Mikel Arteta, I think that was his 8th attempt in a row in the league. And it's not easy when we play home or away against them. When we play at Wembley, it seems a lot easier for some reason. But there we go. Smash the like button. Over 200 inside. Make sure you are liking the channel. Make sure you are sharing the content around, subscribing to me. Jez, his channel link, and Kenny's Instagram links are pinned comments. Jez, how are you, mate? How's your Monday?
Very happy. Very, very happy. Yeah, I must admit, I put us down for a 2-1 loss, to be honest. It was an interesting game, very interesting game. It reminds me of a load of boxers on both sides of the pitch, you know, sort of squaring each other up, because it was a cagey old start and it was a little bit lackluster. And I think that was very interesting, actually, because the fact that they didn't come out all guns, Man City I'm talking about, and we were like holding them back. It was interesting, very interesting. And I am seriously happy because, hey, we're in a title race against Tottenham. There you go.
Oh dear. Who would have thought after the next lot of games before the second international break that both of us two would be top of the table, level on points, level on goal difference? It's crazy, really, isn't it? And I'm undefeated. Kenny, you was obviously at the game, mate. How are you feeling the day after?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I felt fit as a fiddle, man. I think the celebrations was a workout in itself. Absolutely brilliant. You know, it's nice to see all the Arsenal fans before the game, and the Man City fans needed an escort, which is a first at the ground, and they were singing some lovely songs about Arsenal fans. You know, singing "You nearly won the league. You nearly won the league." I reminded them about the government pulling funding on their HS2, HR2 thing in Manchester. So, you know, that spiced things up a bit. You know, you can rely on me on that. But, you know, in terms of like the tactics, Jez is right. You know, we swallowed our pride and we made sacrifices to finally beat City. We've seen how Wolves done it last week, and we've seen how Spurs have done it, and how Liverpool do it as well, when they always make sure that if you have a chance, take it, and then to defend and don't let them breathe. And yeah, it was a good, you know, it was well executed. You know, it's only 8 games, but you know, we should enjoy ourselves because we worked our nuts off. But you know, I just want to sort of correct 2 things. A certain person went on Sky Sports. I don't know why he represents Arsenal fans anyway. That's just him. That's laughable anyway. But he tried to talk about how Tottenham have played all the relegation teams, and he's a bit right, but they also, you know, should have beaten us, and they also overturned Liverpool and Man United. So maybe you should go back and look at that. But there's one thing we've got to address. The media, aided and betted by big accounts, are desperate to get Aaron Ramsdale back in that goal, and I'm not having that. We're going to stop We're going to stop that nonsense. Expose Gary Neville, expose some of these big accounts, and let's get this right. The only reason why they're against David Raya and why they want to fail is one thing, beginning with X: xenophobia. And we're not about that at our great club. Don't wish a guy to fail just because you've got Staffordshire mixed up with Southgate. That's all I've got to say. Staffordshire in North London. Aaron Ramsdale did not grow up an Arsenal fan. He was a West Bromwich fan. You know, your silence was like a thunderclap when he was against Sporting Lisbon last year at home. Your silence was like a thunderclap with all the mistakes and all the chances he creates from his kickouts. It's like a thunderclap. But let's get on.
Yeah, it's funny because when we did the watch along for the Alon's game, and I'm sure you would have all seen it on your TVs at home as well, unless you were at the game. they never panned in on Aaron Ramsdale once on TNT. Sky Sports, every time Raya does a kick that goes out for a throw-in, or every time looks a little bit iffy with some of his kicks, straight away Sky Sports seem to pan the camera straight onto Aaron Ramsdale. So I don't know whether he's got shares in Sky, or whether his family members have shares in Sky or work at Sky. I don't really know, but it seems like
let's not forget. Sorry, mainly, let's not forget. So let's not forget. You know, a few our bods and our colleagues have had his dad on their fan camps, and I'll say no more.
There we go. There we go. Smash the like button up, people. Let's get into this, Jez. Let's start with the goalkeeper, because we were all watching the game, eagerly anticipating some nice, pretty football up against the treble winners. And in the first half, well, it was statuesque, really. The goalkeeper never really had anywhere to pass the ball to. Nobody was moving in front of him. They were all just standing. Man City had 3 players pushed right up on the edge of our box. And he was forced into kicking the ball long eventually. Quite a few times it came straight back. But do you put that down to him, or do you put that down to like this constant, you have to pass the ball out the back? Because there were so many times. There was one, I think Alvarez closed him down and he kicked it off of him and it nearly went in. Like, I'm not a big fan of all this passing out from the back rubbish. There's a time and a place to do it. Yeah, and when you're playing up against Manchester City, when they've got Alvarez on the pitch, they've got Foden, they've got Haaland as well. For me, sometimes you have to bypass that, like, and just go straight long or dink it over the top. You can pass out, of course you can, but there has to be a time and a place. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think the whole problem at that point, I was actually getting worried at points. Is he going to get booked for time wasted? Because he just stood there on the edge of his 18-yard box with his foot on the ball. And there was one occasion, you could see him doing this to the players. Like, are you going to move for me? Are you going to actually do anything? Because I've got no one to pass to. And I was thinking, oh, God, if he keeps doing this, he's going to get a bloody yellow card in a minute. I say that is down to the pure stupidity of the tactic that we have to seem to have to do, playing out the back. There was instances in that game and in other games, right, against Lyon, right, in the Champions League, where we nearly get caught out. I just don't like it. To me, I'm old school. I'm thinking if the goalkeeper's got the ball, he's either going to boot it out there into the midfield or onto a striker, or drop kick it out into midfield if he can pick the ball up. But it nearly cost us. Alvarez nearly cost us. That was a big error. Thankfully, it didn't, but it could have done. I don't like that stupidity. We're not very good at it. We've done it with Ramsdale, and it didn't work with him, and I don't like us doing it with Raya. I mean, I've got nothing against Ramsdale at all. He's done us a good service, but stop it. It gives me bloody heart attacks every time I see it. We can get away with it, Lee and Kenny, against lesser teams. And that's no disrespect. But against the top flight, no. If we get out of our Champions League group, which I'm hoping we will, and we come up against bigger and better teams, it could cost us.
Yeah.
Stop it. And if the goalkeeper's got the ball, yeah, if he's got it and he's got his foot on it on the end of the 18-yard box, midfield, do something. Move for the guy. Give him an opportunity. Because if you're just standing there like, you know, a ghost, frozen, what can the goalkeeper do? What can he do? If they're all being man-marked, right, move, run. Because unfortunately, there was a lot of occasions yesterday where our midfield, especially in the first half, were just walking around. And that's because we played a cagey game. I get it. But when the goalkeeper's got the ball, what do you expect him to do? What do you expect him to do when the midfield's doing nothing? So I don't like it, Lee, and it needs to be sorted out big time.
Yeah, 100% agree. Kenny, you're obviously at the game. What's the crowd saying? Like when all of this passing around the back and standing and all that.
The crowd. Oh, you could smell that. You know, like you could smell like they were like wolves. Every time the guy got the ball, every time he was near the thing, they were just having a go at him. But the thing about it is that, unfortunately, the manager we have and the manager we had before, because let's not forget, Unai Emery was the first coach to try and introduce playing at the back. And I think the problem we have in English football, only 2 teams in English football know how to do it properly. One of them's Liverpool, and the other one's Man City. So if you look at how Edison was passing out the back effortlessly, there was a time when Eddie Nketiah just went, I can't do this anymore. I can't waste energy trying to press, because I need to conserve my energy if I get a chance, because I need to be in that position to put that chance away. So if you look at it, every time Edison the ball, short. The common denominator is Pep's got 4 centre backs. All of them. One plays left back when needed, the other one plays right back when needed, and then 2 centre halves plays in their natural positions. All of them are good on the ball. All of them excellent on the ball, and they all understand what's required. They're all alert. That's how it should be played, and that's how they're trying to get everyone to play in the Premiership. It's not a situation where this is going to be a phenomenon that's going to be a passing phase. I think this is here to stay. The problem we had, and Jez is right, we don't know how to play it properly still. We're not good at it. But because if you look at the Tottenham game, they smelt that we have a few players who are a bit dozy when the goalkeeper gets the ball. They don't turn and face. They turn and run, and they're not in a position. So what was happening is that if you look at the Spurs match, Song, Madison would just, and Solomon were going right in them, right in our back four, because they could smell a rat. And City did that. Other teams won't be able to do that because they want to conserve energy. But the situation is that as long as we have Mikel Arteta at the club, that's the way he wants to play. If Raya kicks the ball long and it goes straight to your position, he'll be out of that goal. I can guarantee you, because that's exactly how he wants to play. Because the Peps and Mikels, the Klopps and all those guys, they're scared of the opposition getting in the game. And as much as it clears the lines, in the way Ramsdale kicking the ball out and the way most of our goalkeepers kick the ball out in this country, it gives the opposition control that phase of play and potentially control the match. That's why it's happening. What Mikel Arteta needs to do is that he needs to go to his squad and say, look, I've got this guy. We're playing at the back. You need to learn, mate. So when the ball's on, Shevchenko, you need to be looking towards the goalkeeper, not looking up. All, like Saliba, Gabriel, Benjamin White need to be better. You shouldn't have a situation where the midfield has to come forward. You shouldn't have to do that. But it seems because our players are not good, are not reading the situation, our midfield keep them coming to get the ball. And that encourages the opposition to go, right, they're not sure, and it encourages them to do the pressing. We need to get better as a team at anticipating that, so our midfield are where they should be. And that's the thing. You don't see. I rarely saw Silva coming to take the ball off Edison. Rarely, because all of them are at it. They're all on it. Every time their defender got the ball, even the guy they signed from Leipzig, the Croatian international, Gadival, he's good on the ball. We just have to be better on the ball, because what's going to happen now? All those players who not be able to play, who are not good on the ball in defence, they're gone. They'll be goners, because he'll move it on. So this is a challenge, because that's the way Mikel wants to play. There's not going to be anything. If we do hit the ball long, it's going to go towards a player, which means he hit the ball long towards JEZ'S, and that's where we're able to sort of stretch City. That's how he wants to do it. You're only hitting the ball long at our club if you're stretching. Mikel Arteta wants short passes, and he wants speed of movement. You hit the ball long in his team, you're out of the team, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
right and bad.
The thing is, Kenny, yesterday, right? I hear what you're telling me, right, about the passing, but we were slow. If you're going to play quick, that type of football, yeah, you've got to be quick. And we were strolling at times, we were walking, and you just what's going well, who's moving, and that is the sort of problem I see at the moment with our team. We don't have the slick type of players that we really need to play that game. And I'm sad to say it's going to cost us at some point. Because
100% agree. The reason why I definitely agree is because we've got to look at the situation. Let's not forget that the way we played yesterday isn't our style of play. We've made sacrifices because what we've done is that we basically said, right, City can have the ball. They're having that ball, and we're not. And all we're going to do is that we're going to make sure that when they try to get in the areas to hurt us, we've got the bodies in there. If one player's beaten, another player's there to make a tackle. Any crosses that go in, we're clearing it. We're intercepting it. We're trying to protect our goalkeeper. And then that one chance, if we get that one chance, we've got to take it. And that's how it was. That team was picked to play that way. That team wasn't, you know what I mean? It was always going to be second half Arsenal. As long as we stay in the game in that first half, whatever like City throw at us, make sure we go in the game 0-0. That, and then when we try to win the game, we had to go a different way because there's other issues as well. Like, I feel, and maybe you guys may not agree with me, you may agree with me. I feel that Trossard's dropping the ball. Seriously, he's like a rugby player who's been where they just come out of scrum. They're doing doing a passing movement. It's about. You meant to pass it to the winger, and he's about to, like I said, score a try. He drops the ball. Too many times he dropped the ball on Tuesday against Lons, and he dropped the ball against Man City. And remember he dropped the ball against Tottenham. This is something we've got to look at. Obviously, we've got to look at the positives, but we've got to look in a situation where, as Jez says, in other games where we're going to have to be at it. This is an area. Let's not forget, it's one win. It psychologically allows us to big our chests up, but we're still going to be patchy. We're going to have to play with more verve, more attacking, and we still look a bit patchy. But that's where you're right, Jez. There is going to be a bit of concern.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think the difference between the way Man City play out from the back and the way we play out from the back is that goalkeeper they've got used to be a midfielder. Yeah, he's so casual on the ball. It's mad. Yeah, it's like he never seems. I know he's made mistakes. I think one against Liverpool in a 4-1 loss, passed it straight out to Salah. He dinked him. I remember that one. But if you actually analyse his mistakes from passing out from the back, it's very, very minimal. I can't think of another one, if I'm honest. I'm sure the chat will. But that is the difference. Like the goalkeeper we've got is coming into a new team. He's never played with these players before. I don't know how many games he's played now. What, 4 or 5 maybe? Something like that. So he's still learning his teammates. He's still trying to communicate with them, telling them where to move to and what to do. But then he's also got the manager on the touchline barking orders non-stop at every single player. And it must be a little bit, and the crowd noise, it must be kind of difficult. And whereas Man City, it's set in stone. And they've got a keeper who's so much better. Yeah, I like David Raya. I think he's going to be a top goalkeeper for us. But the goalkeeper City have got for me, he's the best keeper in the league. I know people say Alisson. Yeah, but for me, I think Ederson's better than him. Yeah, and I think that when you've got a goalkeeper that is genuinely that good at saving shots and with his feet, it makes it a lot easier for your players in front of you. Like, whereas our goalkeeper is looking at Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. Yeah, they might all be decent with their feet. But at the same time, under pressure in a big game, sometimes we've seen these players fold. Yeah, and then a new goalkeeper coming into that as well, and you're fizzing a ball at Gabriel, it might bounce off of him. Whereas their lot, they've been playing with each other for years, most of them, haven't they? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's going to take time, but I don't like it, man. I'd rather, yes, when you can do it. But I want to get the ball up the end of the pitch as quick as possible, and that don't mean long ball all the time. But there's ways of doing it, man. There is ways of doing it. But listen, it worked yesterday. We obviously got the victory. Gabriel Martinelli, Jez, came on at half-time, or just after half-time. And he did come on at half-time, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was half-time. Yeah, you're right. It was half-time. Trossard went off, dropped a stinker. 2 games in a row, Trossard's dropped a stinker, which is kind of worrying, if I'm honest. But as soon as Martinelli came on, Jez, within a minute, he's had a shot, which is something we hadn't had in the first half on target. And he looked lively for about 10, 15 minutes. And then it was almost like we then dropped off again. They then were getting back into the game. They made a treble sub. We then countered that with a treble sub. And there we go. Gabriel Martinelli. Who knew? Who knew, Jez?
Well, the interesting point is when he came on, he put a bit more incisiveness into the front, which we weren't getting. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about Nketiah because I'm bored about it. You know, it's what it is. But Trossard, yeah, he didn't have a great game. He didn't have a great game against Long the other night. But interesting fact, right? I really watched the game today, yeah? All 3 substitutes that came on after Pep Guardiola's substitutes were involved in that goal. All 3 of them. Partey, Havertz, Martinelli, they all were involved.
Tomiyasu as well. All 4 of them.
Tomiyasu. That says something to me, right? And I got criticised on a comment I made on the player ratings last night. Not bad comment, not bad. I said Arteta didn't make a reactionary substitution after Pep's. Probably the wrong term I used. Probably the wrong term. What I should have said is he reacted in a more positive fashion, because we've seen how sometimes what Arteta does, he makes the wrong decision to his other teams' substitutions. So I think what he did was very good, and that's why I gave him an 8 in the player ratings last night, because he switched the game. And we don't often, let's be fair, we have to be truthful, we don't often see Arteta play that game. He can be way too stubborn and it's my way or the highway type of setup, but he did change it. Martinelli, instant impact. Partey came on, instant impact. Big up to Havertz for going up front.
Tomiyasu as well. They switched Doku to the other side.
And I called it. I called it in your chat on the live watch along. Tomiyasu's come on and he will make a difference. And he did. So what do I know? Nothing. But the fact is that I see today, interestingly, Saliba has pulled out of the team for the international break. Now, is this Arteta playing mind games? Is this? Because if he is, fair play to him. Because Martin...
Yeah, Fergie used to do it all the time.
Sorry?
Fergie at Man United, he used to do this all the time. And it's funny, because I actually said this the other day. Who did I say it to? Maybe it was yesterday or Friday. I can't remember. I think it might have been Lewis, City fan. I said Fergie used to just tell players they ain't going. Yeah, you're not going. Right, and they wouldn't go. And then he'd keep them fresh. He used to do it all the time, mate. Yeah, so maybe, fingers crossed he's not injured. Trossard's pulled out as well.
It's interesting. I mean, I like the fact if this is the mind games that they're starting to play, I love it. I absolutely love it. As you quite rightly said, Ferguson used to do it to us all the bleeding time. And respect if that is the case. I mean, interesting Martinelli came on. Interesting Partey came on. Right? I'm glad Saka didn't play, that's for sure. I mean, he probably would have given us a bit of a kick up the arse if he'd been on. But I think the whole game plan, I will give the utmost respect to Arteta for what he did. Where there was 2 cagey teams, right? It was a bit like Kenny standing up to a boxer and thinking, right, okay, you know, like that sort of situation where we're sussing each other out. And then, you know, it got into the 6th round and all of a sudden went for it. And I know that's a bad analogy, but that's how I see the game. I think it's a great tactic, personally.
Yeah. What about you, Kenny, with Martinelli and these injuries, apparent injuries? Because Martinelli, he is a game changer. Yeah, he does bring more directness. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but yesterday, it was a weird game watching it on telly. I don't know if you felt the same in the stadium. It was almost like it was going to peter out into a 0-0. Yeah, and then
it was 0-0 all day. It was a 0-0 all day.
It was like two teams that like they didn't want to lose rather than go and win.
Yeah, I think definitely, because I think City, wanted to maintain that sort of advantage over us in terms of like points wise, and we just thought, you know what, we haven't got players who are, like Saka, who Mikel thinks is his best player. We haven't got to play some Martinelli for the 90 minutes, so let's see what we can do. But what's happening is that again, it's when it's all about taking the opportunity and making yourself difficult to beat. In fact, the goal came at the right time, because you think about it, we scored in the 86th minute. There was not enough time there wasn't enough time, for Man City to, get back in that game. And it showed, because, they did make their substitutions. They got Doku on, and, to try and stretch. And you mentioned your fan came. He went down the right, thought he can ruin Secheka. Secheka tackles him, and he went over to the to the left-hand side. I think that's the whole situation. I will say, in terms of like what Man City offered, maybe I got it wrong. There are times when you say, thank God De Bruyne weren't there. Thank God, Rodri wasn't there to sort of win that midfield battle or force the game, because a lot of people look at Rodri and players like ilk, and they think all they do is hold. They do more than that, mate. They do more than that. They got a pass and they're technically better. And I think, as much as a lot of us talk about Declan Rice, I think he's capable of doing that. But at the moment, we're seeing more of the DM as a breaker. But when Thomas Partey came in the game, one thing I noticed about Thomas Partey, on the ball, I'd say he's passing. Obviously, he was involved in the goal, but I think technically, it reminded me of Partey at his best, albeit a cameo, where you just get the feeling he's got the defensive part of the game, like I said, mastered. But that sort of, probing, trying to join the attack, that's something that Declan could learn of Partey, because I think that's why I always say, don't like I said, turn up your nose at Thomas, because we can still do with him. You know what I mean? But as I said before, mate, we got it right tactically, But again, let's look at this from a sort of like a schoolmasterish way. Horses for courses. That's not the way we play, and we're not always going to play like that against better teams. It's going to be different, because remember, we're all angry after Lens. Now we're all euphoric after after City. So, as I say, one game at a time. And
that's how it should be as well. One game at a time. Like I've seen,
Chelsea's going to be different.
Chelsea is going to be different, and they're coming off the back of 3 straight wins as well. It's a different Chelsea to what it was 3 weeks ago. That's for sure. Yeah.
So again, we won't have to play like that against Chelsea. We will go and try and impose ourselves against that game. But it's nice that finally our manager could swallow his pride and get us to do something ugly, because he's shown he's capable of doing it. Because remember the Man United game? That was an ugly win where we won 1-0 at their ground in the lockdown system. We're more than capable of doing that, but this one was different. We played the underdog role really well. Sorry about that.
I thought it was me.
No, it was me. I've told a guy to get stuffed, because it's, as I said before, podcast time. No disturbances. Don't care where it is. It could be a delivery man. Doesn't matter. Chuck it over the fence. If it's kids, don't worry. Give me half an hour. If you want any money, you're a cat, kids. Don't worry. I'll do it when I'm ready. But when it's podcast, this is our time. We only do it once a week. Don't disturb us.
Exactly. Exactly. But no, listen, you're right. Horses for courses, mate, and different game plans. And I don't care how you beat Man City. There's teams that have done Man City exactly how we've done Man City. Wolves right at the end the other day, you know. And last season, Brentford done them right at the end at the Etihad. Yeah, and I don't think you can go toe to toe with Man City if you're current Arsenal right now. Go toe to toe, end to end, ping pong football, and hope to beat them. Yeah, but listen, it is what it is. It account for nothing if we don't win the league. So
I don't care how we win. I don't care. I've seen Arsenal win many games, and we've played absolute dog shit, right? But if you win, you win. Kenny, you know it. Lee, you've seen it, right? You know, when we had the George Graham era, we played some bloody awful football, but we won. We won. And it wasn't always beautiful football with Arsene Wenger. The year of the Invincibles. We didn't always play the brilliant football that everybody seems to think we did, because we ground it out. And it was that sort of situation where we're going to win whatever. And
100%. 100%, mate.
It was that's how it was. And you know, people watch videos of the Invincibles. Brilliant, great. You know, I've seen them. I've got loads of them stored on my Skybox, you know, of games we played. But the fact is, it wasn't always that silky, brilliant stuff. It was determination. We ain't going to lose, whatever. If when we were 1-0 down, okay, we'll get a 1-1, and we keep going, and we keep going. And I'll take it, man. I'll take it. It wasn't a pretty game. The first half was boring, seriously boring. But then we got into the game. It's a bit more impetus, a bit more movement, good substitutions, and we ground it out. Got the 3 points against Man City. I'll take it.
Yes, you sound shit right. You know, you let's not forget that double side of the 98 side, 97, 98. They won a lot of games 1-0, and they ground teams out. I remember there's a 1-0 against Wimbledon when Ray scored. Let's not forget the game against Man United where I think we worked our nuts off and bullied them physically. And there were times, during you're right, during the 02 season where we just grinded out results, made ourselves to put a beat. And like the common denominator was leaders. You know, we had big leaders during those times, George's times. Leaders, we had about 5 leaders, those results used to, like grind out. And then obviously we still had maintained some of those leaders under Arsene. So yesterday, again, you have to, big up the leadership of the senior players, big up, like someone like Declan Rice, big up, big up, like I said, the captain, where, he was part of us winning ugly. And then the subs as well. Partey's the leader now. So, that's the thing. You can only win these sort of games if you have leaders who can lead and instruct. Because if you have like flake, how do I say, snowflakes, you don't win games like that.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm not pointing the finger at other clubs, but until a certain club in the Northwest gets rid of the snowflakes and the social media lots and gets some leaders, they'll be back challenging the best teams in the country, where I think they should be. Where they should be. A club of that size should be there. But get the snowflakes out, get some leaders in, roll up your sleeves, do the ugly jobs, you'll be back where you belong.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Listen, big up to Flawless, man, for redirecting his viewership here. Appreciate that, mate. Big up to everyone who's joined from that. Make sure you are smashing the like button up. I am live with Henry in about 13 minutes. He's absolutely buzzing. He's never seen his team do so well, I don't think, in his lifetime. And unfortunately for him,
tell Henry or Harry what he calls himself. 8 games. It's only 8 games. Relax himself.
Yeah, mate, this is what these Tottenham boys do. This is what they do. They get all carried. It's not just Tottenham fans. All fans do it. Man of hype I've seen online today because we beat Man City. Whilst it's fantastic beating Man City and we're all happy, let's just calm down a little bit. There's another 30 games to go, and we've been 8 points and not won a title.
We're not 10 points in, mate, see?
30 games to go. It's a long, long way, mate. And not only that, Champions League. I know Chelsea's coming up, but that Champions League game against Sevilla is make or break for this team.
They sacked their manager. They sacked their coach.
Who, Sevilla?
Yeah.
Oh, they've sacked him. Well, to be fair, this is how big clubs roll, Kenny. That guy was their third manager last season after they sacked 2 previous ones in the same season. He took them from 19th to about 10th or whatever in the league and won them the Europa League. And now they've sacked him.
Sacked.
Mad. Maybe they'll get another bounce. Who knows? But that game is very, very... I know the Chelsea game's coming up on the 21st, but that Europa League, that Champions League game is the most important one for me. Because if he don't get out of that group, there's going to be a lot of angry people in our fan base. And that game, if we lose, when PSV lose to Lons, it's going to be extremely difficult to get out of that group, especially top it anyway, which means we're going to end up with a round of 16 against Bayern or something, do you know what I'm saying? Or Real Madrid. So, yeah, we have to get out of that group and hopefully top it, but we shall see. Jez, before we do wrap this up, Martin Odegaard, I want to talk about him. I'm not singling him out because there was a few poor players yesterday. What did you score him in player ratings? I can't remember because I thought he was average again, man. Why is it in these big games doesn't he just like grab the game and run the game? I know. Listen, I get onto him all the time. The reason I get onto him is because we've seen the level he can get to. Yeah, and yesterday I don't think he was anywhere near it. The amount of misplaced passes. Yeah, he got nutmegged at one point, and it's like, come on, mate, you got to do more, right?
Yeah, I scored him. I scored him a 7, and I'll tell you why I did that. Right, because he wasn't a great performance, but he was there or thereabouts, giving it some. One thing I saw about him yesterday was he was being a little bit more verbal. Yeah, he was talking. He was directing plays. Who was it? Oh, Jorginho. In the first half, he was berating him big time. And that's what I expect to see from my captain. We've had brilliant captains in the past that you would be like, oh, shit, don't want to upset him and kick him on. Yeah, I hear what you're telling me. He doesn't always give the right performance in the big games. His shots on goal yesterday, he could have done more. I didn't like the fact that when he was in front of goal, he passed the ball. He can score good goals. I mean, most of the goals, right, he scores are good goals. He has that ability. And yet yesterday he was passing the ball out to the left or he's passing the ball out to the right. And
at one point, Eddie Nketiah tackled him.
Yeah, and he's offside, man.
Yeah, he was up. And the funny thing about that is he actually shouted for Eddie to leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the look he gave him, man, it was if looks could kill, Eddie would be 6 foot under today.
Can I just I'll leave the comment here. I think one player that didn't really help him yesterday in that midfield was Jorginho. Because all I saw of Jorginho was left, right, backwards, left, right, backwards. I put it in your chat and people were agreeing with me. It's left, right, backwards, left. Bit like a player that has now gone, who had one great season, who used to do that all the time. He would kill the attack every time we got forward. Dare I say it, my favourite player, Granit Xhaka. He used to do it all the sodding time. Last season, Granit Xhaka, totally different player. Respect. Well, I take my hat off to him. Jorginho is the same sort of player. Sideways, sideways, backwards, sideways, side. I don't honestly recall somebody in the chat, Lee, can he please correct me if I am wrong? I don't remember at any point in time Jorginho passing the ball forward. And I don't think that helped Odegaard. I remember one point in the game, Odegaard has come in from the right. Yeah, He's come in. Jorginho's got the ball. He passes it to Odegaard. Odegaard gets the ball, passes it back to Jorginho, and he sticks it right back down to the goalkeeper. Really? Really? That's what we paid all that money for you, did we? Really? I mean, sorry, man. Not good enough. I will say this. I thought Havertz, when he played in that 9th position yesterday, I thought he was very decent. So maybe that is where he should play. Seriously. I'll shut up.
Well, what do you make of Odegaard, Kenny? Because you attend pretty much most of all of the home games, pretty much, and a lot of the aways as well in London.
Big games. Doesn't do the big games for us. Sorry, doesn't do the big games home and away. Sorry, but if you want to be honest, he doesn't. All right, Man United, that I still call that a big game, and he scored. Tottenham wasn't impressed. Yesterday wasn't impressed, but I put it down to sacrifices, and I put Tottenham down to the fact that he was helping out his mate, JEZ'S mate, Jorginho, because Jorginho was brought on to play long ball football, and Spurs smelt that, and thought, right, we got an in here. We got a slow player, slow foot, and someone who wants to look up and make a pass. No, we'll quick the game up a bit. So, and it's not just me saying it. There are people around me who were saying the same thing yesterday, because they're not. They use the eye test as well. They weren't happy with him. They were singing the songs trying to encourage him, but there's always the same person who says that Partey has better technique than Declan Rice, and that Partey is still a more superior, more of a complete midfielder than Declan Rice. Was the same person who said that he felt Odegaard still is a little bit short in the big games for us, and that's what he was like yesterday. But it's not always going to be extenuating circumstances like it was against Spurs, helping out a mate, and obviously making sacrifices. That's the situation. If Arsenal want to win the league, all the players have to turn up in virtually all the games, especially the big games, the 6-pointers, because there's going to be some 6-pointers. Liverpool going away, it's a 6-pointer. Or if with that world-class attack, I don't care what Jamie Carragher says, saying that they're short of a defender in midfield. Jamie Carragher is paid to have an opinion and paid pretty well. I don't agree with that opinion. Liverpool have got a lot more about them. Salah can't stop scoring, and I know goals are going to come from Nunez this season. If Salah passes to him, that by the way. But yeah, there's goals in that team. And then Man City away is a 6-pointer, no doubt about it. And the way Postecoglou's going to play, that's going to be like big games. And let's not forget, if you want to look, if we are ambitious about winning the title, our last 2 away games are going to be against Tottenham and Man United. Those are the big games where Odegaard has to turn up. Because I tell you that, both of those teams are not going to give us a leg up to win a title. And who knows? Spurs and Man United may be going for that top 4. Who knows? Spurs might challenge. You don't know. At the end of the day, it's all about maths. The mathematics, won't lie. If they win the carry on like this, you just never know. But we know Man City are going to be up there. So these are the games coming into busy end of the season where you're going to need your captain, you're going to need a flair player. This is where we're going to learn. But Chelsea, I still call that a big game. Let's see what you can do. But you're right. Poor. He was poor. I don't want to bullshit. I got no feeling.
You get people like Classic Guna here. Stop the Odegaard agenda. He was the only player leading us forward till Martinelli came on. That's a load of rubbish. Oh boy,
yeah, but the Classic's allowed to have his opinion. But one thing about Classic,
not playing the game.
Yeah, but again, Classic. The thing about Classic is a game-to-game basis. We don't say he's poor in every game. It's not an agenda. We did the. I was at the game Classic. He didn't play well. He didn't give us what we needed. And I explained that there's a reason for that because he made a sacrifice. But again, that's the situation. Has that Odegaard done it in big games? You tell me a big game and a 6-pointer where he's played well, and I'll shake your hand, Classic. You know,
Mhm.
you're putting
But
your
unfortunately,
you're in
Kenny,
the trap.
social media now, everyone has to be the toppest of top gooners or the bestest of best
Oh, yeah,
fans.
but it's an invitation. I've invited Classic to prove us wrong. We're just doing an eye test. We think we don't. It doesn't mean it's fact that Martin Odegaard doesn't do in the big games. We think that doesn't mean
when the chips are down, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a Man City fan. Big up to Jack. He was at the game yesterday. I think City got complacent and didn't take Arsenal seriously. We need to buck our ideas up. He also says in a previous comment, which I can't find, it's here somewhere. I will find it, that he booed his team off the pitch. There it is. City were a disgrace yesterday. I booed them off in the away end. Yeah, so what, has he got an agenda? Is he a fake fan because his team won a treble? Is he spoiled? Oh, you're so spoiled and entitled. No, it's called criticism, and criticism comes out when your team's not playing well, like Man City. Yeah, so they are allowed to criticise. And do you know what? Any top player along the way down the years, or any top teams along the way down the years, yeah, will take boos, criticism, constant criticism for poor performances on the chin, level up, and continue to kick on. Because I remember, I think it was Sergio Ramos said, yeah, we like it when our Madrid fans boo us. It means we've dropped the standards. Yeah, I think Marcelo said the same. Ronaldo got booed in a game, came out the second half and scored 4. Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that as a toppest of top fan these days because it's negative. But unfortunately, it only seems like this is rife in English football clubs, because anywhere else around the world, I don't see any of this crap. Yeah, if a player plays crap, you say they played crap. Yeah, why are so many people offended by it? I don't get it. I genuinely do not get it. You have to be the 3 most depressing individuals on YouTube. It's not even close. Well, thanks for your view, Bruno. Hopefully you've been served a load of ads, mate, because I've set them up for every 6 minutes.
Bruno.
Let me serve him one now.
I'll tell you one thing. Right, go and watch. Yeah, but go and watch Arsenal Vision. Go and watch Gooner Talk.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And go and watch AFTV. Go away. We don't want you here. You're boring. We don't want you. This is a high level, high class podcast. We don't want cartoon characters. Go. If you want to watch the news or those podcasts, go and watch that. I'm sure you're an average watcher of the news. And as for AFTV, go. Oh, this is not CBBS. CBBC. This is BBC high level question time.
I don't think we're being critical.
But Jez, we're not knee sliding around the floor, mate. Like, woohoo, we're going to win the league. Everything's great. Everyone's amazing. They're crap. Woohoo, 93% champions. Just be happy. Woohoo. Yeah, because we ain't doing that. These Herberts turn up in my chat. When Havertz set that goal up yesterday, he was in my watch along, Jez. How many dickheads turned up? Havertz has put you in the mud. What, because he made one pass? Like, turn it in. Yeah, these people, man, I don't know who made it fashionable, but nowadays, social media,
AFTV,
you have to be the most over-the-top, sickly, toxic, positive fan about everything.
AFTV.
You're not. You're
negative. AFTV. Lee, it's Lyle and his merry men. They encourage that.
He can go and watch the Tactical Insight from somebody who's got no tactical insight whatsoever, hence why he's working for them. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's AFTV influence. Lyle and his merry men just have people want to be famous who want to be famous first, then Arsenal second, and Arsenal's pretty low on their priorities. They only turn up the games so they can get an interview with Lyle and co. That's a fact. And these people who call us depressing, who slag us off, they're all AFT fans. Trust me, you go and see his subscriptions, and I bet you. I can tell you who he subscribes to. He subscribes to Gooner Talk, Arsenal Vision, AFTV. Facts. Because all the people subscribe to all those channels.
That's what it is. Let them crack on. They're still coming and watching me when they're probably all live. Talking of live, I'm going live with Henry in 3 minutes. He's going to be like one of these toppest of top fans, super sickly, sweet, toxic, positive about his team actually looking like a football team. After not winning a trophy for 16 years. It's so easily pleased, Tottenham fans. So, yeah, I'm going to be joining him in 3 minutes. It will redirect us there. So, Bruno, obviously, you don't like watching. Probably best not to get redirected over yourself, fella. Maybe other channels are available. And big up to Classic. Don't bother coming either, mate. Yeah, don't bother coming either. Yeah, unlike you idiots, mate, I don't go game to game. I see the bigger picture. But thanks for both tuning in. Like I said, hopefully you got served a shit ton of ads because they've been going out every 6 minutes and I can spam them whenever I want. So,
Lee Classic didn't come back with any proof that you God does it in the big games. Just came out with that.
Of course, yeah. They've got nothing to say, mate. This is the social media world, mate, which is why I wind all these pricks up. Because they got nothing to say. They're just all mouth. It's words on the screen, mate, hiding behind an Arsenal badge. But there we go. Jez, thanks for coming on, buddy. Big up to everybody in the chat who has enjoyed the stream and does enjoy the entertainment every Monday. Make sure you thank you to DJS as well, membership. Appreciate it, mate. What you got coming up in the channel, Jez?
7:30 tonight. I am doing a match review of the game yesterday. I'm sure I'll be toxic. You know, that's me. But you know what I mean. It was a great result. It wasn't a great game. It was a good result, and that's what it will be about on the show I'll do at 7:30.
Perfect. Arsenal history and more. It's linked to the pinned comments. It's also in the description. Kenny, what you got coming up, mate?
Well, like I said, I might do a boxing podcast tonight, but what I'll be doing is that I'll be watching The Long Shadow, which is a program, a biopic of the Yorkshire Rippers murders. Don't really want to. It's not really appropriate to bring that up, but yeah, I might as well. That's what I do. And what I'll be doing is that I'll be catching up on some of the cricket. But I'll tell you one thing: if certain person's on Sky again, I'm switching right over because as soon as I saw him on Sky, straight to the cricket.
There you go. Make sure you follow Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta. And there we go. We'll end on that comment. Congrats, Lee and Arsenal. Remember, though, the shark hunts from below. And this is why we don't get carried away, my friend. 8 points, we bottled it. And now we're all supposed to be knee sliding around the apartments and the houses. Yes, we're happy. Yes, we're buzzing. I'm not sure why 140,000 people tuned into me yesterday. And all the fan cams and that. I mean, I only get views when we lose, right? So surely I would have only earned money one day out of 11, 12 game days this season. But who knows? It is what it is. I'm going on Henry's channel now. And we're going to listen to him absolutely waffling about them being in a title race. They never learn. We're out of here, people. Smash the likes. Adios, amigos. Ciao.